Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies.
City of Angels.
Here comes the Spider-Man.
It's Thursday night.
Is he strong? Listen, bud.
And time for the MMTE of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Throwing it back to 1967 for the cartoon I watched as a kid. Love this thing. And here we go on this Thursday. It's going to be a massive weekend at the multiplex, guys. I'm telling you, the crowd's up at AMC Burbank. I have not seen anything like this. Even Barbenheimer didn't have this many people. And it's a diverse crowd, right? You've got a little bit of everyone, families. That's why this film's going to be so big, right? 4 quad. That means young, old, man, woman, dogs. They're all there tonight. Please don't bring your dog to the movie theater. Please don't. But let's do it. Let's talk about this film because I am a fan. I'm just going to let it out early and just say that and disclose it. And then let's discuss why I like the film. And then most importantly here tonight, because I know a lot of you have seen the film, whether it be last night in those Amazon Prime screenings or today, because the screening started like noon, we are ready. I want your comments. Come in. I have a feeling you like the film. I mean, I don't know how you don't like this film, but if you don't, come in and tell me how you didn't like it, and I'll say to myself, okay, let's go ahead and go there. Let's talk about it. Here's my 50,000-foot view of this film. In the X reaction, again, thanks for joining us live here on either X or YouTube. If you're not subscribed yet, do that. It is Midnight Movie Talk on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Let's get going. Swing along with Spidey as he battles arachnid rage in Spider-Man Brand New Day, rooted in the power of friendship adventure that's equal parts relationship-driven and action sequences. Holland's never been better as the shockingly only low-key builds to Doomsday. I expected more of a tie-in, right? The tethering of the two films. Not really at all. So that is actually something I don't mind. We'll discuss that as we get into this. And I want to say this, the audience I was with was into this film. They were cheering. They were excited with all the reveals. Not a lot, but when they are there, they were stoked. So here we go, guys. Let's get ready. Here's the scene setter as we get ready to do this. As always, nobody does it live like MMT. Here's a quick look at tonight's MMTE. It's Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart.
Spiders have 3 life cycles. And for those spiders who make it through, it amounts to a kind of rebirth.
And here we go. Let's do it live. All right, here's what I like about this film. I really am into anything that's character-driven and mature, right? A lot of the films I recommend to you here on MMT are cinephilic kind of things. And I feel like when you get a director like Destin Daniel Cretton in on the action, you're going to get exactly what you see here, that emotional, grounded film. I go back to the first time that I learned who this dude was in Cretton. It was Short Term 12, one of my favorite films of, I believe it's 2012, maybe 2013. But you look at that film, tiny little indie, and so many huge names came out of there, including Brie Larson and Rami Malek, including many others. But you look at that film, and very grounded and very much of a dramatic impact film. And here's the thing. When you look at Cretton as a director and you go back to, you look at what he did with Shang-Chi, here's how I know that Cretton gets the best out of his actors. I want you, when you have a free moment, to go back and watch Shang-Chi and pay attention to Awkwafina's performance. In virtually every other movie that's not The Farewell, Awkwafina is out of control, full wattage, doing her thing. Well, guess what? She's not there, and she could have, because it's a Marvel movie. But that's what Cretton does. You can tell what Cretton does with his actors is said, hey, Put a lid on it. Give me less. As we like to say, modulate down, volume down. And you get that from this film and from Destin Daniel Cretton as a director. And he is a big part of why this film works. The emotional punch of this film as Spider-Man is rebuilding his life. As you guys remember, No Way Home, when that film ended, he had to have all of his buddies forget who Peter Parker was. And now he's on his lonesome. And he has to rectify, how do I continue without my crutches, my best buddies, okay? That we can all relate to. We've all lost a friend, a loved one. And I think this film does really nice job of touching on that. Look, I also like the buddy cop infusion here. When you talk about Bernthal coming in Punisher, you get that, we've seen it before. You saw a little bit with Strange and Spidey last time around, but this time, look, we know that Bernthal plays Bernthal in every movie, and he's doing it again here as Punisher. If you haven't seen the series, I haven't, but I know exactly what to expect as Bernthal as Punisher. But you get that buddy cop, you get that relationship and that antagonism, and that works here. That's fun. Let's talk about the cast here as I pull up the IMDb page, because I feel like this is a nice time. We did this for the Odyssey. I can kind of break down who I like here, who I think excels, maybe some people that need to work on some things. Tonight, really not much to say from a work on perspective, because again, getting back to Cretton, he gets the best out of his actors. So again, not many notes on that end. Tom Holland, the best he's ever been as Spider-Man. He has to do emotionally more, I think, here. And because you're working with Cretton, again, you get that grounded, emotional, just kind of grittier performance out of him. I like that. Zendaya, she has her moments. She gets, I don't want to give the film away, but she has that scene where it's not really Zendaya. I like that. It's dark, okay? So that's interesting to watch her do that. Ruffalo's not in the film a lot as Ruffalo, more as the Hulk. But listen, I know you might not like his politics, but he is Hulk, and you just see him and you go, okay, we add some weight, yes, literally and figuratively, to the film with his addition. We talked about Bernthal. He does the same thing in every film, but we're used to that. And then you look at Sadie Sink, without revealing who she is, even though it says right here who she is. I'm not familiar with this character. Guys, I'm not a CBM freak. I go to these films. I'm familiar with them. I've seen them all. But don't ask me to start talking about issue 197 of some reveals. No, we're not doing that. So as I watch Sadie, really the only time I have any experience with Sadie Sink is from The Abysmal Whale, where she plays a one-note bitch the entire time. Well, guess what? Here, she's kind of playing a bitch again, but I think that obviously it works here more than the truly wretched Whale. What an awful film that was. But you look at Marissa Tomei shows up in some flashback scenes. Always nice to see her. You've got a bunch of nice ensemble performances here, and it gets back to Cretton doing the thing that he does, I think, better than anyone in the Marvel universe so far as a director. I do like the tank action set piece here. It's early on, and it's big, and it gets you into the action side of this. If you wanted to see the character thing, now you've got your big giant howitzer cannon tank thing rolling through Manhattan, and boom, there we go. And it's a cool scene. I like that. Here's one of the issues. We got back to Sadie Sink. Let's go back there for a second without, tipping my hand too much. But there's a lack of pure villainous villainry here. I think that's an issue. You have Scorpion show up, but kind of like a side character and not really all that much focus. I think that's not the end of the world. Just saying that's this film, is that Sadie Sink isn't really the villain, or is she? That's to be determined, but I think we see when we get that character arc where we're going with that. It's an overlong film. Look, it's 2.5 hours or a little under. It needs to come in at 2:05 max, 2 hours. You go back to a lot of those MCU films post-Endgame, they came in right about 2 hours. I feel like we had to get there. I think someone had to tell Cretton, I like what you're doing here, but we've got to pare this down just a little bit. It's not enough of a note to like drag the film and say this whole thing falls apart. But that third act drag, you're talking about that final battle that we always see and the whole setup, that takes too long. It happens in every film. I go back to, you look at Man of Steel, a film that I love the first half of. And the back half, I wanted to gouge my eyeballs out for the obliteration of CGI on the screen. It just went on and on and on, the carnage, and I just was like, I'm out. I'm tapping out. Not quite here, not like that. But again, I just wish these directors and the studios, whether it be Marvel in this case or DC, you compact that final act. Compact. Supergirl had that issue. Supergirl sucks. This is way better than Supergirl. But right, it's still about making that third act. I got it. We did it. Can we wrap it up? That's always going to be my note. MMT score tonight, I think it's fair because I think it is a very solid film. I enjoyed a lot of it. I probably will see it again. So I'm going to give it a 90%. That is an A-. I still prefer No Way Home. Why do I prefer No Way Home? Because I am a fan service guy. I'm not going to shy away from that. And I think that film, when you bring back the old Spider-Man, you get that lift that this film doesn't quite hit, but it's not that film. This is a muted film. Okay. And getting back to one of the things I do like about this film is that it's not directly tied into Doomsday to the point where it feels like all we're doing here is a promotional ad for the film that's coming next. In fact, there's only one tiny, very end credit scene, but nothing like you're used to in the MCU. That's a positive. So what I like here is the fact that, again, it's self-contained. I don't have to think about Doomsday for the entire runtime. You have a little bit of a couple characters coming in, as we know, but I'm not going to say who, because you haven't seen it, but that's not a bad thing. That is not full on, let's push Doomsday the entire time. The fix here is to tighten that runtime 15 to 20 minutes, get it down to 205 max, and I think there's ways to do that without question. You put me in the edit, I'm going to be able to tell you, here's what we're going to squeeze. We're going to squeeze here, squeeze here. I don't necessarily lose a scene. It's about squeezing things, again, making that last act a little less protracted, bring it in, compact it a little bit. I think that's always a note. It's almost universal whenever I have one of these MMTEs. But tonight, we're thumbs up on Spider-Man Brand New Day. Controversial take, but I like this more than No Way Home. Evan, you're not alone. As I said, I prefer No Way Home. But if you prefer this, I don't have a problem with this. Here's what I know. This film is hella better than the two that preceded No Way Home. What was that? Homecoming and Far From Home? Homecoming, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal? Oh, okay. Far From Home, was that the one? Whichever one. Oh, I think it was Far From Home. Listen, no, okay, they're okay, but this is better than those. So, right, if you're asking me to stack these, we are clearly going to go for me, No Way Home 1, this is 2, and then the other two below. The one with Gyllenhaal, by far the worst. So, look, this is where Marvel needs to be, and we're going to talk about box office here momentarily. This film is going to be colossally huge because when I walked into AMC Burbank tonight, I have not seen a crowd like this hype, this juiced for a film in a very long time. Odyssey had a crowd, but not like this, okay? This reminds me a lot of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Midness. Remember, that was like the first big film that we were allowed to go back to movie theaters, and it was so stacked. People are dressed up like Spider-Man. They're buying the AMC popcorn head. That's like $50, isn't it? I saw a bunch of people with that Spider-Man head walking around. Look, a mannequin head, right? Walking around, eating out of a skull. Tons of those. They're making bank, man. Sotfik, welcome to the stream tonight. It's reaching endgame numbers opening weekend. 300 million's the floor for this. Let's talk about that because I want to do the theater check right now. I'll give you my number, then we'll do box office, and I'll get back to your reactions on this film. Come in right now. If you're watching on X, the only way to get a hold of me is to go to Midnight Movie Talk on YouTube, subscribe, and then comment on this stream. I will get to as many as possible. I am not like the other people, Nerdrotic, who only answers super chats, which means you pay to have a question answered. No way. If you want to, awesome. Steve's one of our boys here on MMT. Give me a lot of super chats. We love that. But I am not going to train you to say, oh, well, guess what? He's not going to talk to me. He's not going to answer my question. He's not going to comment on my take if I don't pay. That's between me and everyone else. So if you want to call me a grifter, I got news for you. Hell no, boy. You're picking the wrong battle, man. MMT's the real fucking deal. We are the gold standard, and do not ever forget that. If you ever need a reminder, I've got a CG ready to go. Let's bring it up. It's a lower third. We're the gold standard. Okay, let's get to the theater check, and I'm going to go to the AMC website if it's not jammed. It's been a total mess today. Can I say that? That you look at, the Odyssey had those 70 millimeter IMAX screenings that all of a sudden became available, some new ones, and the thing was crashed. It was like 15-minute wait this morning, and it still was buggy throughout the day, but luckily we're in right now. Thank you. Let's look here. We got the 7 o'clock that is just about ready to start. That's the Dolby Fan Night event, opening night event. Let's click on that and see what we got. I'm sure it's completely sold out. Here we go. Give it a second. Oh no. See, now the website's getting buggy on me. We got the 3 dots going back, vacillating dots. The 3 vacillating dots. We might have to, let's hit back. Do we have it? Let's try a different one. Let's try the Dolby Cinema 730. Now you're saying to yourself, wait a second. How do they have 2 different Dolby? We have 2 Dolbys now at AMC Burbank. Yeah, I'll show you a picture. I took a picture of the new one. And if you haven't been to AMC Burbank 16 recently, the new Dolby is on the right side as you make that turn. It was that huge theater that used to be one of the big showcase theaters there at the 16 before they added those PLFs. It's another PLF screen. And as we talk about box office here, look, here's the Dolby 730. I mean, there's nothing. There's one seat, not even the front row. So again, that's how big this film is. Let me go back out and we'll click and I'll show you what I'm talking about when I say that this has tons of PLF. Okay, it does not have IMAX because Odyssey still has IMAX, but we have 2 Dolbys at Burbank. We also have Prime 3D, Prime regular. 8 o'clock's almost full. 11:30. Let's see what that looks like. It's late. Prime 3D. Let's find out. That's pretty good, man. Look at that. 11:30. At 11:30, only the front rows available. That's great. It's going to be massive. Guys, just wait till I give you my number. We're moments away. Let's look and see what else we have here. We got Screen X. That's another PLF. Why do I talk about PLFs? Real 3D. Not a PLF, but again, upcharge. All these tickets cost more to purchase. Therefore, the box office goes up because you're paying more to see it in Dolby, Prime, 3D, Screen X, whatever it is. That's an upcharge, and people now love to see movies in those enhanced auditoriums. I do. And the best thing about A-List is it costs me $0 to go to one of those PLFs versus a regular screening. So if it's a big film, I'm going to go there. If it's something small, I don't mind going to see the smaller outfit, as long as I have a recliner. I want a recliner. Recliners are amazing, but in the PLFs you usually have those, like Prime and Dolby. By the way, do you like? For those of you who are just watching, you're like, this isn't the typical stream where you're talking about it's woke or it's not woke. What am I watching here? I don't know what to do with myself. He's not shilling for something. No, we're talking about the merits of a film and if it's going to do well at the box office. It's called informational brilliance. Hold on, we're not doing Tomato Meter yet. Let me get the let's get the projector. I'm going to put this in here. You said 300. I'm taking it 280 plus. Okay, so 280 million is the floor, and then I think 300 is within range. So we're looking at 280 bottom and up from that. That's insane. That will be as I pull up. I already did the research for you. Let's pull up Variety. We talk about this. The biggest opening of all time is Endgame at $300 million. Okay, right below that is No Way Home at 260. So we're going to be above that. We might get above Endgame, but let's say it doesn't. It's still the second biggest opening of all time stateside. Then you have Avengers Infinity War, 257, and Force Awakens, 247. This will be above those. At the worst, this will be the 3rd biggest, but it will be the 2nd biggest when all is said and done because we're talking 280. And then also I want to mention this. When you look at this film from a box office standpoint, you're talking about a movie that is going to be in China. No Way Home was not in China. So now I have to go back. I was telling you guys, I didn't think this film would be as big as No Way Home. Totally wrong. Let's correct that because I didn't know that we didn't have China for No Way Home. I forgot all about that. That was during the COVID stuff. Also, that was because they had the Statue of Liberty and China was like, you can't do things with the Statue of Liberty. There's no way to do that with that film if you remember how that whole thing crescendoed. So when you look at it, this with the China money alone, this is going to be over $2 billion. $2 billion. So yes, there we go. And look what Weber just did. I said I didn't think this film would be as big, and then I went back and looked at all the information available to me because a lot of times, dudes, I'm telling you the truth. It's not like I sit here and study this shit all day. I go, oh shit, I didn't know we didn't have China last time around. My bad. And I correct myself. I'm not like the critical grifter who says this and then doesn't mention it again because he doesn't want to dent that ego/reputation. I got news for you. If I have to correct something, I will. And by the way, it rarely happens. Our batting average is the 900s, people. So do not mess with the A's. We're the gold standard MMT. Why such a big opening? Because Tochi, this is a 4-quad monster at the end of summer. We have been waiting for a film like this to show up. You're going to say The Odyssey. Odyssey's not a kid's film. It's R. So look, there's tons of little kids at the multiplex. When I was there, I was like, wow. I haven't seen this many families, well, since Toy Story, but it's bigger than that. Guys, this is different. I wish I would have taken a video and walked around the hallway. I walked into multiple theaters here after I finished up today in Prime. I saw it in Prime tonight, which is enhanced sound and the recliner. It was awesome, perfect. No problems with it whatsoever. That's a great room for me. You go, and I walked into Screen X. Screen X was slammed at a 3 o'clock screening. Not a seat, not a single seat in the entire place. I walked over to the new Dolby. It was filling up. It hadn't started yet. It was like half an hour out. That was filling up. The other Dolby slammed. IMAX still busy for Odyssey, but you look at this film is just slain, and it's going to be massive. That's why Tochi, because also the word of mouth is going to be great. You talk about a film that, let's look at because I did have it up, Tomato Meter Reacts. Let's find out if anybody gave this a rotten, because if they did, it's messed up. There's no way this is rotten. No way. No chance. 91%, 98% popcorn meter. No, it's got to be higher. 91's too low. Oh, God. Oh, guess who it is? It's our friend Allison Wilmore. Of course, Allison Wilmore. Oh, my God. You talk about a chin-stroking, inaccessible, relates to no one critic. It's Allison Wilmore of New York Magazine / Vulture. If I'm not mistaken, it was either Allison Wilmore or was it Alyssa Wilkinson who came in saying that there's no women that are ever featured on FYC boxes. And I looked on my FYC boxes that are all behind me, and it's all these female critic quotes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She deleted the tweet. I have receipts, okay? And I'm issuing a receipt here tonight to Allison Wilmore. You are useless as a critic. I say that as nice as possible. It's not nice. I don't care. Allison, go right for your chin-stroking knobs in New York City. I'm sure you're hard left. No one wants to hang out with you, whether they read you or in person, but enjoy, keep critiquing for Vulture, one of the hardest left publications that there is. If there's hard left and there's harder left, it's Vulture. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Slanted Journalism. Allison Wilmore, we're dragging you, and I always enjoy that. Whenever you come up, I will drag you all night if I need to. Although I don't think the viewers want to hear any more about Allison Wilmore. Talk about a limp dick discussion. Holy shit. Weber, how dare you? What did you just say? That's so bad. You're so mean. Sorry, we talk about all the time when we talk to cinema. We talk about fully erect cinema or flaccid cinema. So there we go. It's all in the sphere of MMT. If you don't like what you're watching, I got news for you. There's other channels like Chris Stuckman. You can go watch Critical Drinker, make shit up. You can go watch Nerdrotic, and he'll spin the stuff that he wants to, and he'll talk about all the comic book nerd shit that you want to talk about. I'm talking about the reality that this film delivers, and the average person is really gonna like this film. Oh, of course they do. Alan, they're miserable people. Dude, do you the guy just asked a question, Alan? We're not gonna do this. No, listen, this is not gonna continue. We're only doing it right now. It's over. Would you want to have a drink with either of these ladies? Like, let's all go to the bar. Let's go to the Irish pub in New York, and let's hang out and have it. No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, hell no. The Ace would be in the corner regaling everyone with stories about Elizabeth Olsen, and they'd be over there going, well, this movie sucked, and my life's awful, and I'm my cat. You're like, what is this shit? This is what I'm talking about. These are people you want to hang out with. Weber's the worst. This is why I take on both sides, now attacking film Twitter, and then I'll turn around and hammer the critical grifter. This is what we do here. And again, we are only ascending here on MMT. Your comments on the movie, box office, whatever you want to do, I have a dead space right now carved out for you. If you have something, bring it in. I will get to it. Odyssey and Spider-Man will keep movies busy all the way through September. End of Oak Street and Dog Stars are in trouble. You know what's interesting? You talk about that, Louise. Oak Street to me looks like it could be something that's maybe Interesting to watch. We'll find out. Dog Stars does not look great, okay? I think that's Ridley Scott, right? I don't trust Ridley Scott after Gladiator 2. But look, you talk about Spider-Man coming in, killing it all the way up. Kids go back to school soon, but it'll continue to play. You've got Odyssey still slaying in IMAX, and then 70mm just went on sale. More of those. They sold out. So we're fine. Listen, we are great right now. And now what has to happen is you have to understand that we're going to go through that dead space in September, October. You know, you got to hope a Resident Evil from Zach Krager is a very good film. Obviously, he's had a track record of success, but you're really going to have a struggle here, I think, as we get out of summer. But right now, we're on fire. But just don't expect that to continue. We're going to get into some weeks where you're like, what are we talking about? When we do these live streams on Thursday, we're talking about a small film. We're talking about a small box office. It is what it is, man. We're at the tail end of summer. This is the second busiest season. Well, I mean, look, Christmas quarter is number one. As you guys know, those 2 weeks, the biggest 2 weeks of the entire year. But summer as an overall 2+ month, thing is much bigger, right? Just because of that kids out of school and everyone's on vacation. They're going to the movies. He can't talk about this. He doesn't have a bunch of nerd memorabilia behind him. Oh, but yes, I do. Yes, Johnny. I'm so glad you said that because I have him right here. I need you guys to understand that I once was a nerd and I saw the light. I have my Secret Wars Wolverine from 1984 with the black claws that I have not lost. They're right here. There's the black claw, okay? So don't question me and his little shield that has two different things as you turn it. Don't question me. I used to be the biggest nerd, but I actually grew out of it, and I started going to the gym and watching real movies so that I still love my boy Wolverine who's here, but it's not like it's, look at me, I've got my rare Wolverine figure in the background. Can't even find where to put it. I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing? You want to go watch the nerds? You want to do that shit? You want to go watch a guy that, is just like all he talks about is action figures and fucking comic book nerd shit. Go watch that. There's a billion channels. I'm a big geek, right? I am the comic book geek nerd guy. Ugh, like, shit, man. Enough, guys. You don't need, first of all, you don't even call yourself that. Because when I watch, I go, oh my God, you are a total nerd geek. I don't need, just don't even say it. Like, we can infer that. We just look and go, oh, I don't think I want to see this. Is Endgame's opening weekend record in trouble? Look, it gets to 300 million. It is, right? Amanda. Me, my old man in a movie. My bad. I thought it said Amanda movie. Here's the deal. Yeah, because look, I'm at 280 up. Bring it back, right? 280 up. That's projector. Our projector has been dead on. Guys, come in the comments and tell them how many times has the projector been right. How many times? Like, we are at well over 80% projector, like within, I'm talking a few million. It's never off by much. So if I'm at 280, 300 is not far. Right? And I think word of mouth is strong here. Cinema score should be, I bet you it's an A. A- would be I think it's an A. So it gets an A. Then we're off and running again with that word of mouth. Thank you for this beautiful kit. Look, tonight's kit, by the way, Bayern Munich, and this is the authentic, of course, the player cut. I don't have the cheap fakes. Don't make me show my abs tonight, guys. I'm not gonna do it. I can, you guys know I can, but I'm gonna be just a little bit more tame. But if I need to, it's always there. Just know that if I need to, I will do it, and then they have to just cower. But we'll just let it go. Don't make me do it. Okay, more comments here on this Thursday. Listen, guys, it's fun. I always love doing these streams coming out of the movie. And listen, I think this is where we excel. I don't think there's anyone else in this space that can go like I can right now out of a movie for as long as I can. And let's make this very clear. Live. It is 7:37 here in Los Angeles, and this is live. Okay, you're not seeing me edit. Not happening. Can't deny it. I was absolutely geeking at the real Hulk finally back, right? He's there. You talk about, I'm not the biggest Hulk fan, but still, it just gives that more robust MCU feel. I think this film definitely is not as Avengers big as No Way Home, right? This is a smaller, muted film in a way. Not muted, it's still CBM, but right, it doesn't do all these crazy big things that I kind of expected out of it. You read those earlier reactions. Wait till you see this. Not really. I think that everything here is actually smaller than I expected, and that's good. That's good. What is my note? Every time I say bring it down, bring the volume down. Not me, because I don't have any way to do that. Well, I do, but I don't like to. But I'm not an actor. I'm not in a movie. I'm not portraying a role. Well, I mean, sort of, but you know what I'm saying. No, fine. I'll show my house. There they are. Hold on. There it is. See, because here's the thing. If you guys, here's the deal. Is if the deal with the ace is this, is that if I say it, it's there. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to, because it's like, what's the point? Because, but you know what the point is? Because there's someone out there going, he's talking shit. I don't talk shit. I back shit up. Don't forget that. More comments. Sorry, Red Spice. There it is. I had to do it. You guys asked for it. You get it. That's what happens. Short-term 12 parallels with this movie. Interesting. You know, Tochi, you haven't seen that movie in over 10 years. What I remember about it is it's at an at-risk youth, like, hostile kind of school thing, right? And all the kids that are there have issues. And then Brie Larson's one of the counselors. Rami is too. And then who's the other guy who was in some things? Never really became a big star. He's been in a bunch of stuff. But I like, again, I think just the grounded nature, the emotional damage. Look, that's what Daniel started with. That's what Cretin started with. So for him to expand to this, it's easier, right? And you see a lot of these directors did that. You look at a Todd Phillips, started small and then turns into the Joker. But Joker's is a smaller film, right? Todd Phillips hasn't made an Avengers. But I think Cretin, what he does, and he did with Shang-Chi, and I did like that film as well, is that he gets the best out of his actors with grounded. And I go back to it. I can't say it enough. Look at Awkwafina in that film. Shang-Chi, she is muted. She is chill. She is not out of control, because I think that Cretin, he's just a really laid-back dude. You listen to his interviews. He's just really kind of just a quiet guy. I have a feeling that he speaks softly and carries just a big stick. When he walks in, he's just like, hey, man, hey, guys, why don't we try to just go a little lower? I like what we're doing here. He's just chill. You get the opposite feeling when you get the Russos, right? The Russos are probably in there going, hey, guys, let's do this. You know, I mean, oh, God, don't. I didn't want to have to do it, but here it is. One of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life in a movie theater. Certainly absolutely chaotic as fuck. It is The Gray Man. This is my popcorn box from the world premiere. There's Gosling. There's Evans. Look, it's so dusty. It's been on the floor. The Russos responsible for that trash. You see the dust fly off of that? It's still here. Whenever I need it, it's on the floor. But the difference between a Russo and one of them, whichever one, Joe and Anthony, and Daniel. I like to say Daniel, it's Destin, because it just makes more sense. Daniel's the name that we usually go with versus Destin. But Cretin is just night and day. Night and day. So that's a great question, Tochi. You know what? I might go back and watch that movie. It's been a long time. I was a huge fan of that film. I pushed it hard when I was in Boston. I put it on my top 10 of the year. You know, 2012, 13, 14 were some good years for cinema, man. 15, there was like a resurgence there. 2010, because you look at a lot of films from right in there, 9, 10, 11, that's a great time in cinema. You talk about Social Network, you talk about Drive, which we lost Kavinsky yesterday. Rest in peace. My God, what an opening to Drive. You guys, if you've never seen Drive, you must see it. I've seen it probably 25 plus times. One of my favorite films of all time. More comments here on this Thursday night, and then we will do whatever. I mean, this is it. I think we're going to just focus on this film tonight. And then when we come back on Sunday, we'll talk about the box office. We'll talk about whatever else. We got a lot of things to get to. Marvel getting back to making good films again will help the box office thrive. It does help. You know, look, you have to have quality. And you look at Odyssey, even though the anti-wokers really wanted to see it fail, it is clearly not. It just passed Oppenheimer on the domestic box office total in just 13 days. That's insane. So clearly, fans, audiences like that film. Now you have Spider-Man coming in, the second best to me. But listen, if you have this over No Way Home, I have no problem with it. So look, again, quality matters. Go back to Obsession, a film that we raved about when I came out of the theater. Watch that reaction for you. What did I say that night? I would have paid any amount of money that we had in the bank for that film. And look what's happened, 450 plus million worldwide. I never thought it'd make that much money. Nobody did. But I'm very good. There's no one better in the space at identifying a film that works. Definitely not Alison Wilmore. That's the thing. You guys got to understand. Do you guys think that every critic has good taste? That every critic is a well-balanced, semi-normal person? And I know that's shocking to you, but I am. I don't just watch movies. I go to the gym. I play beach volleyball. I have a life beyond just watching movies. Alison Wilmore, her whole life is writing her little 5,000, not little, long-ass, long-winded, boring as fuck, 5,000 word essays on whatever she's talking about out and stroking her cats as she goes to bed. That's all she does. She doesn't relate to someone at all, not at all. And that's the thing. And that's what you got to look for. Does this person, is he a real person that has a life? And also, is he good at what he does? And I can answer to both those things. Those other two, no. She might be a good writer and she gets out her thesaurus, or she's so learned. Oh, look at me and my master's degree. Doesn't matter. You're not relatable. 0% relatability, and your reviews are spoken and written for no one. No one. Except for your chin-stroking knobs that work at Vulture and all your little friends there in New York City. The armpit of cinephilic nerds. I mean, literally just, ugh. New York City's. I one day want to live in New York, but I can promise you, I never walk into a press screening and be like, "This is the." You talk about uncool in L.A. The New York press is like, "Oh God, look at these people. These people need help. These people wouldn't know what a real life looks like. They don't have one. Look at them." All Elite Channel. What wasn't as bad as The Odyssey, which deserved 50% score. Brand New Day, solid 60%. Sheep will love it, man. All Elite, you're going hard. No, I think you're way too hard on this film. Listen, I don't think it doesn't reinvent anything here. It's not like this film is like, oh my God, this is a tar for me. You talk about a film that I think is I think it's a masterpiece. We don't use that word often. Tar. Okay. Look, this is still a better film and a better CBM than a lot of the shit I've sat through. It's better than any of the DC movies of late. It's better than Supergirl, Black Adam. I like Flash, but I would say it's better, but Flash is good. Flash is solid. Nope, not going to play the game. Flash is solid. Compared to Supergirl, Black Adam, what else was in there? Oh my God, Blue Beetle. Oh, Shazam 2. I mean, this is some bad shit. So we're good. Again, it gets back to Cretin. There's a reason why Cretin was scheduled to do Kang Dynasty, because I think Marvel bosses have to know he gets what the actors need to give the best performances. No question about that. So, look, this film is better than 60%. You're being too hard, All Elite. But I know that's in your nature. It's fine. You're allowed. I'll entertain it. It's not. But I'm just gonna tell you, I don't believe you're right here at all. Even the Odyssey that I have a lot of issues with, I still think overall, from a filmmaking, large screened format kind of thing, is great as far as its experience, right? That cinematic value. I mean, screenplay, I wouldn't have that film be the way it is. Too long. There's a lot of things. Go back and watch that evaluation. I think it's the best we ever did by far. It's available for you. I think it's pinned to our homepage on Midnight Movie Talk on YouTube. Todd Phillips came from comedy, old school. That's right. Hangover. That's right. But also even before that, indie, right? Really small indies. And then, but see, right? So look, Luis, at the directors who are able to kind of translate their skill set into a CBM. I mean, one that didn't work at all was Chloe Zhao, because I think Chloe Zhao is too small, right? I think that Cretin, the one thing that he's learned, and you go back to Mercy, what was the movie he had with Michael B. Jordan? Just Mercy, okay? I like that film. But again, grounded characters, Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan, grounded. That's what he did, and that's what he does. So that was a smart move by Marvel. So I give you, look, Marvel has a good eye. I don't think I would have hired Chloe Zhao to direct a Marvel film, though, because I love the writer more than Nomadland. Writer's unbelievable. And you look at her, she almost makes that docu feel. It feels like you're watching a documentary, cinema verite, and that's not going to work for Marvel. So I think that was a mistake. That was a whiff. And I think Chloe knows that. And by the way, Hamnet was not. Listen, Hamnet is her word. It's a shit film. That film is so cloying and manipulative. Bad film. Not a fan at all of that film whatsoever. More comments here. If you're there, listen, here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and start it now, because we are 38 minutes into this. I will start it now. It is called the Comment Blast Closeout. If you have a question, if you have a comment, I will answer anything. And that includes, right now, I'll go a little longer. If you want to talk about Critical Drinker and that whole thing, I'll do that too. I have no problem. If you want to talk about this, we can do it. I'm available for the next 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to call it a night. I think we did this film right. The way we do it live, no one can do it like us. You know what? Here's the thing. I have so many kits that I'm not even really a fan of any of them other than, you guys don't even know. I need to post a video of how many. They are overflowing here. I have so many. Here's a brand new one I just got. I don't think I've worn this one on the stream yet. Give me a second. So look, to show you that I have, these are two big teams, right? This is the Arsenal from, I think, 2022. This is the authentic. By the way, look, authentic. This is never a fake. I don't ever have a fake kit. I put the patches on myself. This is the player version. So the player, I'll wear this some night. This is Arsenal, as you guys know. But then I don't just stop there. Hold on. This is another one of my favorites I just got from last year. This is a tiny team, Gillingham. Again, look what I have here. We've got the badges. I do not come on the air without a full kit, although tonight, I got to say, is one of the first nights I haven't. Look what's missing. The Champions patch is missing from this because when I bought it, it wasn't included. So I have to order the patch and I have to heat press it on. You can say I'm a little obsessed. So be it. So be it. You have to have something. Look, this is my action figures. But the difference between this and an action figure is that I can take these and wear these out and look good in them and have people say, do you play soccer? Are you an athlete? Because it looks good on you. It fits because you have a six-pack. You see, this is why this is better than playing with dolls, right? Wearing the kit is greater than playing with dolls. Tell that to the nerds. You know why you can't wear a kit like the Ace? Because you're not built like the Ace. These things are meant for the players. You're built like Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt ain't gonna fit in this shit. It's gonna rip the seams, man. Jabba the Hutt, you need a triple XL, and even then I don't think it's gonna fit you. Uh-oh, Weber's being mean. Oh my God, he's so nasty, that guy. I don't know. I don't know. Did he already go after me today? Let's find out if he did. I'll do let's do that for Sunday if he came after me. Listen, no. I hope he does. That guy is such a fucking grifter. Can I just drill him for a second? Dude, you're going to make a video where you vacillate back and forth like a politician and never really call anything and then say, is Oppenheimer going to match the set? Probably not. But I don't know. But probably. But I don't know. But, dude, take a fucking stand. I say what's going to happen. My whole video is this film's not going to bomb. And you got you vacillating back and forth, flip-flap. The flim-flammer critical grifter. You know, dude, whatever, dude. You're overrated. I will destroy you in a live stream one-on-one. One-on-one, you can't hang with me. You'd be so boring, dude. You have to edit all your videos together. Sorry, and we're not playing the game. They know that, and that's why I'm coming after them. We're not done, guys. We aren't even close to being done. I am coming for all of them. It is done. They can't hang with me. None of them have a six-pack. None of them have the intellect. None of them have the personality. None of them have the audacity of the A's, and that's why they're targeting me, and I can't wait because the difference between me and everyone else is I can defend. I can bring the heat, and you guys don't even know what you have open, baby. Roll up. Randy Orton, love it. The best box office tracker is saying Spidey doing 330, 370. That would be insane. I don't know who if you say, hold on. If you say the best box office tracker, first of all, I'm 100% in the mix. Okay, let's make sure that's very clear. And then also, let's talk about this, that if you're going to say Luis Fernando, I swear to God, bounce him fast. Bounce this guy out of here, Gone Girl. Get him out. I'm not dealing with Luis Fernando fans tonight. That's the guy who said Supergirl could match. What was it? What was the film? Spider-Man. That's what he said. Listen, I said the floor's 280. 300 or more would not surprise me. This film is going to destroy. So, you know, whatever. But the thing is let's make sure that the quote best person comes back with a receipt. You know, if you're going to say that, then you need to make sure. You see, I'm not going to say 330 because I'm not for sure, but I did tell you that Odyssey would not bomb, didn't I? I definitely did not say maybe, if, possibly, or. All right, let's see what else we got. And then we're rolling out of here. This comment blast closeout. I hope you guys enjoyed this. By the way, can I get a little love real quickly? Just look at this. First of all, I want some love right now for the Spider-Man head instead of mine, okay? I want some love for the webbed MMT logo. I want some love for the graphics package tonight that I don't get nearly enough respect for. Everyone just thinks that this shit just happens. Do you understand that I am the creative behind this? I don't have someone making my graphics. Guess who makes my graphics? Me. I make these. So I want some love right now. If there's one. And also, I want some love for the kit. I want some love for the aesthetic of this channel, and I don't get enough. I destroy them in aesthetic. I destroy them in looks. I destroy them in content. I destroy them in... What else do we got? What else do we got? Because I got them all. I am the 5-tool movie critic. 5-tool. Go back and watch movie Moneyball. you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You sound confident with Oak Street. Listen, I'm not confident. It's you know why I'm not confident, Luis? It's an August movie. August movies are typically bad, right? They never, one of the rare times that I went to a movie in August and was blown away by what I saw, and this shows you how knowledgeable I am when it comes to August releases. Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I went, this can't be good. It's an August movie. I came out of that test. It came out of a very early screening. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, doing local news, and I came out and go, oh my God, this movie's badass. I love Guardians, and it's still one of my favorite Marvel movies. But look, that's rare. That's rare. So no, I'm not confident with Oak Street. I'm just saying, I like the idea of a dinosaur monster film in a cul-de-sac, whatever the fuck's going on. I haven't even really watched the whole trailer. I want to just go into that movie and just say what's happening. Who directed that, by the way? I know the director. I saw it and I go, oh, I know that guy. Remind me. Other comments here, and we'll continue a few more minutes on the comment blast closeout. I'll say this enough. Weber Obsession is the best film of the year, but I'll say I haven't watched The Furious yet. Furious is solid. It's not as good as The Raid. Nowhere near. The great thing about The Furious is the back end. When we get to that final it's not twist, the final carnage, okay? It is something else. When dude turns and loses his mind, that scene's bonkers, but it's not, the overall film is not nearly as strong as Raid or Raid 2, but it's still a good film. I liked it, and it might be in our top 15 of the year. Hard to say. We have a lot of good films this year. It's been a very strong year. You know, Odyssey's not even in there. You know, we talk about Obsession's my number one. You talk about a film like The Plague is way up there. You talk about Bone Temple is way near the top. You know, these are great films. What's another one I just saw recently? Oh, the Invite. Very good film, right? And I think as we go into fall, we're going to get more of the films I like. I like those smaller, indie, grounded, character-driven films, okay? And that's why I, can admire what happened here tonight with this film, because it has those leanings, and those leanings are what I am gravitationally pulled towards. I never heard your take on Under the Silver Lake, his last film. Johnny, I got a confession. I only watched half of Under the Silver Lake. It was so weird, I couldn't finish it. I never saw it in the theater. I watched it here. I will, you know what? I want to see the entire film. What I understand about Under the Silver Lake is that it is revealing a bunch of crazy shit. That is the reality of a lot of things in this town and in reality. So I need to watch that film. I just remember watching it going, I don't have the time for what this film is doing right now. And that was a film I didn't see in a multiplex. When I go to see a film in a theater, 99% of the time I'm going to stay, because I made the effort to come here, unless the film is god awful, like that one last year from Robert De Niro was in it and Levinson directed it, The Alto Nights. Oh my God. I sat through an hour of The Alto Nights and I said, I'm not doing this shit. I am leaving the movie theater. So that's the thing. And look, a movie like Alto Nights doesn't matter. So if it's a big film like a Spider-Man, a Supergirl I wanted to leave, but it's a big film, so I cannot leave. The one the other night, what's the one we had the other night? I just watched, and I stayed the entire time even though I hated it. Oh, I stayed for the Refn film. It's bad. I should have left. It's horrible. What a inaccessible, just dull film. It's what's it called? Her Private Hell. Oh God, awful. So yeah, I'll try to get to Under the Silver Lake. But look, unless it's if it was in the movie theater, I'd go see it tomorrow, because I love seeing movies in movie theaters because I just have to lock in. Here, how easy is it at home to like grab your phone as soon as you get bored? Phone, right? When you're in a movie, you're like, I'm here. I drove here, even though I'm 5 minutes down the street. I drove here. I need to make this. I need to commit to this. When you're at home and it starts to, you can just wander off and just kind of put it on in the background. I don't really like to do that. August films are most raunchy adult comedies and weird genre films. Yeah, I mean, because studios know it's back to school, right? Vacations are over. So you're really at the tail end. So really, you look at what the studios do. They bring these films out late July so they can own all of August, because there's nothing big coming out after this, major. Oak Street's not a big film. All these things aren't that big. So you look at August, you're just talking about a time when you can own all those PLS for a long period of time. Like Spider-Man will be PLF for how many weeks now? IMAX is still going to Odyssey for, again, weeks and weeks, because at the end of summer, you don't have another big film that's going to demand that. The studios basically give up. They surrender August, and I think that's what you see here is the end of July is the end, and then when we get into August, it's pretty much stuff that's never going to be huge and rare. Case of something like a Weapons, a Barbarian did okay, but Weapons was an outlier. Really, you're talking about August, September, not months that box office traditionally does well. Kids are going back to school, football starts, Saturdays and Sundays are taken up by either college football or NFL. So now you're talking about a smaller audience. Right now, there's nothing going on. No World Cup, MLS, I mean, but and not even English soccer started up. None of the major leagues have started around the world. So you look at it's just captive audience of people looking for something to do. This is it. Last rung, and then we're off the ladder. It's time to wait. And fall's going to be bad. Fall's not going to be great. Just know that. So don't lose hope. Just know we have to get through till Dune and Doomsday, but we don't. I got to look ahead of the schedule, but it doesn't look promising, but it's okay. We've had a great year. We've had a really stellar year. We saw Odyssey doing well and have this film that's killing it. All right, a couple more comments and we're out of here on this Thursday night. Thanks for being here live. It's MMT, Midnight Movie Talk. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. It is at Midnight Movie Talk on YouTube. If you're watching on X, you cannot comment. There's no way. You can't comment. I can't see it. If you do it now, Gone Girl might pick you, and I'll do it. Only God Forgives is a masterpiece. You know what I like about Only God Forgives? I think it is hella violent. I love the score. Cliff Martinez did the score of Drive and that film. I like it more than Her Private Hell. And it's, but that score at times just makes the entire film. But Drive is Refn's film for me. That's, if you ask me, Drive is just one of my all-time favorite films. Top 5, easy. Yep, Social Network, top 5. You go back to Taxi Driver just for the sheer audacity and bonkers of it, and it's, space and cinematic history, probably be top 5. There's Star Wars. First time I saw Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Those are all big films for me, seminal films. Tar's on that list. I mean, it is. Tar's in my top films of all time. No question. Yeah, love it. I mean, dude, listen, whenever I walk out of a film and my jaw's on the floor and I'm like, I can't even believe what I just watched, I am just blown away. Look at another film. I'll pull it off the wall here. It's on the wall. You can't really see it, so I'm going to pull it off the wall so you can see it. I cannot recommend this film enough. This is the David Bowie documentary, Moon Age Daydream. This is one of my, you talk again, top 20 film, maybe all time for me. I love David Bowie. I love the 80s. I grew up as an 80s kid, Gen X. And this documentary is straight heat. This is kaleidoscopically gorgeous. And Brett Morgan, you made one of the best documentaries of all time and a true testament to the man that was David Bowie. And what I love about this, the ethereal, intellectual nature of it. He is just almost stream of consciousness throughout this thing, narrating it. If I could see this again tomorrow in IMAX, I would go. I saw it 5 times in movie theaters, and it is one of my favorite films of the past decades. It is Moon Age Daydream, the Bowie documentary from a few years back. The fact that this wasn't even nominated for an Oscar is fucking laughable. It was one of the best films of 2022. You talk about 2022, you talk about Moon Age Daydream, you talk about Tar, you talk about After Sun, you talk about Decision to Leave. 4 films that are all at a 95 percentile or higher for MMT. 4 films in the very top portion of the scale for what we do here on this channel. That is very rare air. And what do they all have in common? They're all cinephilic films. They're all art housey kind of things. That's what I like. But here's what you get out of me, and I've said it before and I'm saying it again right now. What you get out of me that you don't get out of everyone else, I'm a kid that grew up in Columbus, Ohio, who went to the movies to see all kinds of junk. I sat at my friend Mike Allen's house and we watched films like Motel Hell, My Bloody Valentine, Friday the 13th, obviously, the one not Cannonball Run, the other one, Murder. It was a race with a murder race where the contestants got killed by the cars. I was really young when I watched that film, and it fucked me up. It was so weird. Look at Piranha. All these weird, just like schlocky films, horror films, and then all those 80s films that I grew up with, the Lost Boys, the Goonies, the E.T.s, and the Star Wars, and all that stuff, right? Look, you have that. And then you have the cinephilic side of me that really got into the art house side of things, watching Siskel and Ebert way back when. Whenever I watched Siskel and Ebert, and I watched it religiously when I was a kid, going all the way through, until they were essentially done, the two of them, and Gene passed away, and even beyond with Michael Phillips and whoever else was filling in. You look at the fourth film, right? Whenever they did a review show, they'd have 3 big films and a fourth film, or 2 big films and a small film. Whatever that last film was, that was the one I wanted to hear him talk about, because that was hard for me to find. That was, I knew something that was indie, cinephilic, even though we're talking about, I knew as a kid that they weren't talking about a big film, because I used to get the newspaper and flip through all the ads to the movie page and look to see where was what, all over Columbus, Ohio, what's playing where. And then we had this little art house place called the Drexel. And whenever the Drexel had the film, I'm like, that's the fourth film from Siskel and Ebert. And those are the films I wanted to see. So see, what you have is you have this meshing, as I like to say quite often here, of a kid who loves Star Wars and then the guy who was totally into La Enfant, right? For the cinephiles out there, you'll be like, wow, that was a nice reference. Okay, so that's what you get. You get that mesh. You don't get that out of Nerdrotic. You don't get that out of Critical Drinker. You don't get that out of Chris Gore. He used to, not anymore. You don't get that out of any of the people that you watch. It's very, very rare to have that combination. And like I said here, as we get ready to wrap here on this Thursday night, it's been a pleasure, always a pleasure here on MMT, is that what we do is singular. You cannot replicate it. There's no one in the world who can do what I do, not one person. And I hope you appreciate that, because when I go here, it is literally like the power of cinema is flowing through me. We do it live because I feel like that's the best way to get it out there. And I can tell you this, the reason that I scare people, the reason that people don't like me is because they know that they can't match the ferocity, the power, and the overall skill set that we bring to the stage. And you know it, and you better learn to like it, or better yet, love it, because we're the best thing going today, and we're only going higher. That's how we work. Thanks for being here. Steve, you are the man, dude. I want to thank you for the super chat. And again, I'm not like the other guys. You got to hit me with super chat. But Steve, I gave you a shout out earlier. I'm giving you one now. I sincerely appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And I want to tell you that we'll be back on Sunday with our... You know what we'll do on Sunday night? I'm going to do a stream where we have lots of questions. We'll talk about the drinker thing. We'll talk about how Spidey did box office-wise. We'll just open it up to a lot of comments, and I'll flow in and out, because this is what I do. I defy you to find someone who can react as quickly, answer questions as honestly and accurately as me in a live setting. Thanks for watching MMT. We're the gold standard. And I hope you enjoy your weekend. We'll be back here on Sunday, box office show in the morning, and the Sunday Evening Spectacular on Sunday night. As always, a pleasure. Good night from Los Angeles.